So you're thinking about moving to Houston, Texas? Well, I moved here 8 years ago, and it is a very different living style. In fact, there are 6 things that I've learned since moving here that I wish someone would have told me before I moved here. So I want to do just that for you in this video. And I promise you're going to want to stick around for all 6, because I guarantee you that if you ever decide to live in Houston, Texas, these 6 things will affect you in some way. If you're new here, I just want to say welcome. You are in the right place to learn all there is about Houston, Texas. On this channel, we're going to talk everything related to Houston. We're going to tell you where to eat, sleep, play, the good, the bad, and everything else. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap that little bell icon for notifications so that you can be the first to learn all there is about Houston, Texas. We're helping people move to Houston all the time, and we love it. So if that's you and you're thinking about moving to Houston, Texas, whether it's in 9 days or 90 days, make sure you reach out, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, and we're gonna make sure your move is as stress-free as possible. Reason number 1 why you should not move to Houston, Texas. There are no seasons here at all. So if you're like me and you're moving in from somewhere else that has all 4 seasons, you got spring, summer, fall, and winter, say goodbye to fall and winter, because those are basically dead. And you might as well say goodbye to spring too, because there is barely a spring here. There's maybe like a week or 2, maybe a month of cold weather in there, but it never lasts long enough for me to even count it. In fact, I remember when I used to visit my family in Houston, when I used to live in Michigan, I would visit them for Christmas. And I remember celebrating Christmas in shorts and a t-shirt, which was just crazy to me because I was so used to a white Christmas up in Michigan. If you are the kind of person you like to see the different changes in season, you like the change in temperature, then don't move to Houston, because you're not gonna see any of that. The one season that I miss the most is the fall, because during the fall you have the perfect temperature and then all the leaves are changing colors, right? And it's beautiful. All the decorations in Hobby Lobby and Michael's is all based off of how beautiful those colors are. In Houston, we don't have, our trees don't change colors. I mean, they kind of do, but they just go from green to brown. And so that's not nearly as fun as it is in those different states. Reason number 2 why you shouldn't move to Houston. Houston is flat. We have literally no nature here at all. So if you're coming in from like Colorado or California and you're used to seeing the big mountains and the hills and all the lush greenery in your backyard, you're not gonna get that here. Houston is just a really flat prairie, and really the only thing that we can offer are skyscrapers and highways. And this kind of ties into reason, I guess you can say 2.5. If you're the kind of person you really like to enjoy being outside, you like to hike through the mountains, and you like to go through the woods and do all these things outside, don't come to Houston, because you can't do any of that here. In fact, it is too hot outside most of the time to do anything outside, but we also don't have any of those awesome hiking trails that you might be used to in those different states. Reason number 3 why you should move to Houston. Driving is tough here. I grew up driving on 2-lane highways, and we drove in the right lane, we passed in the left lane, and we always left a 2-second buffer between us and the car in front of us. Here in Houston, our highways have at least 4 to 5 lanes, and every single one is a freaking free-for-all. Like, there are no rules. You pass in whatever lane is open, and oh my, if you're going 10 over the speed limit, you're still going too slow. And there will be somebody riding you, and they're gonna make sure you know that you are going slow. And God forbid, if you decide to use your blinker while you're on the highway to change lanes, ooh, that guy next to you you're trying to get in front of, he's gonna take your blinker as a personal attack, and he's gonna make it his life's mission to make sure you never get in front of him. It is the most frustrating thing ever. There's this Houston subreddit on Reddit, and there was a question that asked, why are you guys so aggressive and why are your drivers so mean? And one of the responses was that basically when this guy gets in this car and he gets on the highways, he's entering a war zone. And when you're in war, you don't reveal your move to your opponents. And so that's why he never uses his blinkers. That's how bad these roads are. The roads are considered a war zone. Ugh. And Houston has some of the worst traffic in the nation. So I think that attributes to some of the reasons. But man, these drivers are angry and pissed off all the time. Every driver hates you. And if you live here long enough, you're going to learn to hate every driver too. Reason number 4 why you shouldn't move to Houston is that there's nothing to do here. There are no attractions in Houston because Houston is not a tourist city. If you go to New York City, you can go Times Square, you can go shopping on 5th Avenue, you can check out Central Park, you go to Los Angeles, and you can check out Santa Monica Pier, you can go to Disney World or like Hollywood sign. And there are attractions there in those big cities for you to check out. In Houston, we don't have anything. There's nothing for you to check out. Because again, Houston is just not a tourist city. Whenever I have friends and family come visit me and they always ask me, hey, what are we gonna do in Houston? I have a hard time answering them sometimes. Because really all you can do in Houston is just eat and sweat. And then to tie back into 2.5 or reason 2, right? There's not much you can really do outside to begin with because it's always so hot. The things that you can do in Houston are very limited. But I'm not saying like you can't get a bunch of friends and get together and go do stuff, because you can go do stuff. But what I am saying is that no one ever says, hey, let's go to Houston for vacation. Reason number 5, Houston is huge. Like Houston is just absurdly big. It's actually bigger than some United States. And I actually think it's bigger than some countries out there. It's ridiculous. It takes an hour to get from Houston to Houston. So if you're the unlucky person and you live on the opposite side of town from where you work, you're gonna spend at least 2 to 3 hours a day commuting. And it is not fun. I actually did that for a little bit. I lived in Southeast Pearland, and I was working in Cypress, which is northwest Houston, literally opposite corners of the city. And that was the worst time of my life. I was spending at least 3 hours in my car driving back and forth. And that was on the tollway, so I was paying to sit in traffic. It sucks. So I always recommend if you can help it, live close to where you work. And also with Houston being so big, if your friends and your family are spread out, it makes it a lot harder to go out and about and see them and visit them, because it's so much of a drive and it's such a trek that it almost turns into a hassle at some point. Finally, reason number 6 why you shouldn't move to Houston. Houston is freaking humid. It's one thing to be hot, but this humid hot, it's a completely different ballgame, because Houston is a coastal state, so we are right by the water, and you can feel just how humid it is. Arizona is hot. California and Las Vegas, those states are hot too. Those are like a dry heat. You know, that's the kind of heat where you go and your boogers just dry up. Here, you come to Houston and you can just walk through the air and you can just feel how humid it is. It is freaking almost kind of gross. It feels like you're in a sauna, right? And if you've ever been in a sauna, you can know it's kind of hard to breathe. It's kind of hard to kind of go up and about and do things. And that's exactly what it feels like here. If I fly out of state and I come back and I'm getting off that plane, as soon as those doors open and I'm stepping out, you can just feel it. You can almost part the air and walk through it all. It's so gross. I walk to my car to get ready for work, and it's literally a 10-second walk and I am sweating. And I'm not even working out or anything. I'm just walking and just instant sweat. It's gross. So those are my 6 reasons why you shouldn't move to Houston. And honestly, I didn't want to make this video too long because I didn't want to dog on Houston too much. But I could make a part 2 if you're interested. So drop a comment down below if you want to hear some more reasons. But I love Houston, obviously, because I still live here. And my wife and I, we had our first child here, and we've already developed our roots, and we've already started our family here in Houston. So I'm happy to be here, but that's because I know these 6 reasons and I've learned to accept them. So if that's you, and you're not running away, and you're not completely turned off by these 6 reasons, you think you can make this work, then reach out, give me a call. Let's talk, let's make this work, and let's get you into Houston because we are always ready for more people. Ooh, I'm gonna get burned in the comments for that one. But make sure you reach out, make sure you call, text, or shoot us an email. Send us a carrier pigeon for whatever. And we're gonna make sure your move is as stress-free as possible.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Ooh.